All right, class, so welcome back. This is week 15. On this week 15, we're going to talk about the APIs, how we can actually access data from an API. What I want you guys to do is go to the sandbox on your coded chest. Well, not necessarily yeah, you can just do a sandbox. So do a sandbox of the coded chest and uh, make a you could use the sandbox, or you can use a link for the a section of the lecture maybe for Python. But anyways, just follow along here. Just make just go to the sandbox, and we're gonna create a Python a using API. Okay. So we're gonna create a program. Select Python 3. And so what we have now is this clear uh, setup for us to be able to run our Python, right? So right now we're gonna check. It runs perfectly. Hello world. There's nothing that we want to worry about. So what we're gonna do is our goal is to be able to extract some data from a weather API. So the weather API that we're gonna do it from is from do this one from here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna access the open weather map and extract some data. Now, in order to be able to do that, you need to create an account. Anybody can create an account, it's easy. So you log in, create a username, your password and everything. Once you log in, you're gonna have to go and create a key. I can't do that. I cannot show you that because then I have to create a new idea. Well, I guess I can. But the thing is that so you go to my API keys, and then you ask for a key. Now, usually the keys do take a while to process, so you might not be able to um, use it at the moment. So when you make the request for your API key, it might take a while. Maybe it takes an hour or two to be able to make that key activated. So that's what you need to do. We're going to be able to access this API. So we need to be able to make this call. This API is going to require, right, to be able to access this API, we're going to have to require the latitude and the longitude of the city that we want to be able to figure out the weather. And then we're going to have a key, the API key. Like I said, to get the API key, you need to go into the request the API key. Like I said before, I can't just show you right now mine because you're supposed to keep your API private. Okay, so you can see here, you can go to my API keys and then generate an API key there. All right, so this is where we're going to be able to extract some data, right? We're going to be able to extract the um, weather for the city of San Diego. That's for example. Now, here are some parameters that we can use, right? As you can see, this parameter is required, the latitude, the longitude, um, the uh, this you need to be able to have the key, which is the key that we're going to be adding. That's required. Now the mode, the units, and language is optional, but this app ID is the actual API key. So we need those three. We're going to be using the units as well as parameters, um, but the other ones are optional. So just know that we're going to extract the data from this API, from the open weather. All right, so the first thing we need to do, because we need to access data from the internet, we need to use a URL. So let me show you guys. Let's start with, I have so many windows open. All right. So the first thing we want to do is let's try this part right now. I want to show you guys. We're gonna extract this information from this website. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna call in the website HTTPS two dots the front slash API. So we're gonna access from this API open weather map.org front slash data front slash 2.5 weather. So this is where we're gonna be accessing the data now. Again, remember I said that we require some parameters. We're gonna require some parameters, right? We need the latitude, longitude, and the key, right, to be able to do this. All right, so let's see, we're gonna need those parameters. So we're gonna create a parameter library, dictionary that is going to contain all these parameters. So we're just gonna make it a little bit easier for us. So we're gonna contain the latitude parameter, which is gonna be the latitude variable. The name will be the next one with the longitude. We need this parameter, which is going to be the longitude. We need the AP ID, which is going to represent the API key. We're going to call it the API key variable. I think we're missing commas here. Comma. And the last one will be the units. Now this one's optional. You don't need this, but we're going to use it anyways. So we have the metric values. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna request a data for this URL. So we're gonna do a request of the to get some data from this URL that from this website right here. We're gonna request some data. So we're gonna call it. We need to use this. It's we can call it an object, right? It's an object to access data of a website. And here we're gonna get the value, the data from this URL. Now we need to pass the parameters. This URL to be able to get this data from this weather requires these parameters. I showed you guys this right here. Like I said, in order to make this request from this API, we need the latitude, longitude, the app ID, right? That's what we need to be able to make that access, right? And that's what we're gonna do. We need, in order to be able to access this API, we need those three data. And so we need those parameters. This is the parameters that we're talking about right now. And so now we're gonna be able to save that request, right, as our response. Request is capital, sorry, it's plural. Now, if we do this, if we try to check if there's a response, right? If the response status, we're gonna check if if we're able to get the data, underscore code. If there is a response, then we should get a 200. So it's like we're reaching out to this server to see if we can get this data that we're looking from this API. So And if we get back a response of 200, that means that we are good. We're gonna be able to get the data. There's like 400 arrows, other numbers that respond like to make that makes and that means that we have an error that we're able to get the data. So 200 means that this is good. We're able to get the data. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say for right now, let's print true. Like we were able to get the actual data. Now, right now, let's see what the problem is right now. This is not gonna work right now because one thing we don't recognize this request. Oh, and also we need to define this latitude. Like we haven't assigned this latitude value, right? So we need to give them a variable. So let's just say define latitude. For now, let's assign a value of latitude. Let's call it 34.05. That's the latitude of San Diego. Of actually Los Angeles, I think. And then let's get the longitude to be defined as negative 118.25. Just for the sake of it, so that we have some value. And then the API, what I'm gonna do for the API, I'm gonna save in my API here. So I'm gonna pause this because I'm gonna add a file here that is going to be my API. So I'm gonna pause here. So actually, let me create it. I'm gonna call this file API key dot text. And so right here, I'm gonna save my key. So I'm gonna put pause onto the recording so that you guys don't see my key. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna continue now. I already saved my key there. I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna access the data from my key. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna say API key equals, and I'm gonna open this file that I just created, which is called the API key.txt. That's where I have my key, and I'm gonna read from this file. And I can do all this in one moment. I can read. I can just choose to read from this file that I'm gonna open. So this is going to read the first line that we have from this file. And now I have the key that I have stored on this file. So I want you guys to store your key here. You don't want to share your key, your API key with anybody. So I want to keep it private. Let's see if we're able to access that key. Now, this is good. This is working, right? We have stored the information here. Now, it's complaining because there's a request. Doesn't know what the request is. So in order to be able to fix this, what we need to do is we need to import the request. Now, if I do this, it's not going to work. There's no module name request. So what we need to do is we need to import this request into CodeHS. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a file called requirements. So we're gonna save all our dependencies here, requirements.txt. So we're gonna save all our dependencies in this file. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna request. We're gonna import the request that is equal to 2.27.1 version. So we're gonna upload this request version. It's not automatically in the Python, so we need to upload this. So now we'll go back and we're running this again. You guys gonna see now on the right side that it's installing the packages, and the package was installed correctly. As you can see now, we were able to make the request to access this website server. And now we're ready to extract data. So this is very important. This is how we connect to a API. So all we have done is just connected to the API. Now, I know that in this case, it's a little bit, you have to look at the API requirements, because in this case, it's saying that in order to be able to access this API's information, you need to have those 3 parameters. And so whatever you have to read your API's requirements to be able to get the data. So that's why we created these parameters that are required to be able to extract data from this server. Okay, from the server from the open weather map. And so we make the request to get the response, and the response right now is 200, which means it is good. We were able to be able to reach that server. Now let's say I want to get the data. Let's say I want to be able to see the API's data. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna store my data, my response, which is going to be a JSON file. So remember that JSON file is a JavaScript object notation file, is a text-based format for storing and exchanging data. And so, excuse me, that's what we're doing right now. We talked about this in the beginning of the semester. Let's print the data. Oh, I misspelled response. Response. And there you go. So you can see all the data from this API. Now, as you can see here, this is talking about the city of Los Angeles. These coordinates are needed to be able to extract the specific weather of a city. So we were able to get the data from Los Angeles, and you can see all this information from here. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to make it nice and clean. We're going to be able to extract the data, and we can see how we can access this data specifically. So this is what we have, a dictionary for this data, right? So you have the key, and this is going to be the value. The key, the value, right? This is going to go all the way to here. And then you have the key, the value, the key, the value, and so on and so on. So you can see here for the name, right? We have the value Los Angeles. We have, what else do we have here? The coordinates, we have longitude and latitude. Okay, we have the temperature right here. All right. Okay, so let's extract this data. Let's make it nice. So we're gonna print, and we're gonna use a format, string format, and we're gonna do a front slash in the beginning so we can separate the value, and we're gonna say weather at coordinates, and we're gonna, in curly brackets, we're gonna put the value, the variable value, right? So we use curly brackets to place our variables. And so far we haven't accessed anything from the actual um from the actual API. All we did is just print our longitude, our coordinates. So now let's do actually data. So print location, two dots, and then now what we have done is we have stored the J response, all the data that from that API in this data. So we have everything stored in data, and that's what you want to do. You want to store it in the data so we can extract it from there. Now, let's actually print this so that way we can visually see it. It's always good to print it. Let's run this again. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna extract from the data. And so remember that it's a dictionary. So the key is what you're gonna use as your input value. So it's going to be the name. We're gonna look at the name on that data. And for now, let's print this so that way you can see it. Okay. So again, it's kind of hard to see it. All right, so we can do this so that it prints a little bit nicer. This is kind of hard to see. So let's actually print this at the end. So that way it is, no, not there, not that one, this one. That way we'd see it a little bit better. So the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna print it So what we're gonna do is we're gonna import this JSON package that allows us to print our data nicely. So we're gonna use JSON dumps, and we're gonna take the data and we're gonna indent by 4. And let's see what that looks like. JSON. Oh, forgot to close the parenthesis. Dumps. Sorry, it's point. There's a this point, not comma. All right, so you can see here, this is my JSON. Now you can see that the JSON has this as key, coordinates, weather, base, main, visibility, wind, clouds, DT, system, time zone, ID, name, and COD, right? So now we can see a lot better when we're gonna extract the data. All right. So we want to extract the data. So what this is going to do is going to grab is going to return the name of the data frame, right? So it's going to look at the data name input, and it's going to return Los Angeles. We're also gonna print okay, let's see what else we're gonna print. So that is going to be the data system. So let's print also the country. Sorry, the country, yes, let's do the country. So if we look at the system, in the system we have this inside a dictionary. So this dictionary has a dictionary. Inside this dictionary, right? The key is country, gives us US. So the way we're gonna do that is comma. We're gonna have data. Has to be a variable. Then we have system. And then on that system, so now we're right here. Now we want to be able to grab USA. So we're gonna do a system, another bracket to refer to the value of this country. So we're gonna just think about it as a matrix, kind of like a multi-dimensional matrix. So we're gonna do now the country of that system, close the curly bracket because that's a variable, and then finish up with the 2 semicolons. Let's see what we get. We're supposed to get Los Angeles, California. I think we're missing a yes, I put the wrong quotation. It's supposed to be a single quotation instead of double quotation. And now you can see that we print the country. Let's keep going. And now let's look at the temperature. We're gonna print F temperature. Data. Now the temperature is going to be on the main temperature. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did before. We're gonna look at the the main. Data main, and then temp, and then that should give us the temperature. Now, these are supposed to be quotations and quotations, right? Because those are the names of the uh, input of the key. And we're gonna add that this is going to be a Fahrenheit. All right, let's see if we were able to get the temperature. Good, we're able to get the temperature right now in Los Angeles is 14.86 Celsius. I think we can get the other one. Let's see, Fahrenheit. Uh, Units, we can do standard, metric, or imperial. Let's see, imperial. So it's 58 Fahrenheit. Cool. Now let's get the we'll get the weather if it's like cloudy, stuff like that, right? So we're gonna look at the weather right here. So it's cloudy, overcast, stuff like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna print Fahrenheit, and we're gonna get the weather, and we're gonna input the variable, and it's going to be weather 0. So we're gonna look at the weather, and then we're gonna look at the description over clouds. All right. So the reason that we put in a 0 is because we have a list. Now this list only has one element, right? This is the one element that we have on this list. If we had a comma and we had another, we can actually put another dictionary we want to. We can add more data. So this is because there's only one element on this list. So that's why we put in that 0. Now that we put the 0, now we're located here. Now we're looking at this dictionary, and we want to look at the description to get the overcast clouds. So we're gonna go and say over the description. Oh, that's wrong. And we need we're missing. This is supposed to be outside. All right, so overcast cloud, we want to make it capitalized. So we want to capitalize this. Overcast clouds. Okay. All right, so we're able to get this part. Now let's look at the humidity. Humidity, and then we have data, brackets, and we're gonna look at the humidity is on the main. So we're gonna access the main first. Now that we're in the main, we're gonna look at the humidity. So we have to do humidity. And then we're gonna add a little bit of nice things here. We need to finish the humidity. We are gonna be outside the variable. We're gonna add some percentage. And so just to have this humidity of percentage symbol. Let's see if this looks correct. All right, let's look at the wind speed. Data, wind speed. And again, we're accessing the wind speed, right? So we want to access this data right here, and then this speed p value, and then now we get the 461 miles per second, meters per second. All right. If we're not able to get this response, else, if we're not able to access this server, we're gonna print there was an error response dot status underscore go. So this is gonna give us a number, like it can be 400, and then we're gonna also print the response dot JSON, and we're gonna get the actual message of the error, which is usually unable to fetch the fetch weather data. All right, so that's just in case. All right, so we run this again just to check. All right, so that looks good. Now what we're gonna do here is we're not gonna print the data anymore. We don't need this anymore. We're using it just for us to be able to see what we got. And let's run this again. And it's working. So now let's make it look nice. We're gonna create this function that gets the weather by coordinates the latitude, the longitude, the API key. All right, so we're gonna take this, guys. Excuse me. And we're gonna move them on down here. So we're gonna put them down here so that we can call it. We can call this. Actually, we don't need this right here. This is gonna go up here. What we do need is the API. We're gonna take it and put it down here. And we're gonna call the function, right? This is just to make it nicer. And and see if we get the same thing. Right? We got the same thing. We got the exactly the same thing that we had before. Now, obviously we never remember all the latitudes of any city. So can we fix this so that we are able to do it with just by doing the name of the city that we want to look on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a file here. We're gonna upload a file, and I'm gonna call it the California city. So let's upload this file. I'm gonna share it with you guys, and we're gonna add this file. Now, if we look at this California cities, it has all the cities of California, and it has all the coordinates. So the first one is the latitude, the second one is the longitude. Now we could have used we could have used Google API to figure out what is the latitude and the latitude and longitude of any city. But let's say that I didn't want to use two APIs. Let's just use, let's say, we're just gonna extract it from this CSV file. So this is gonna have all the cities of California. We're just gonna focus on those ones and be able to see if we can actually able to extract this data. So here, this is the index, this is the state, this is the city name, and this is the county, this is the latitude, longitude. So we're gonna be able to change it. We're gonna be able to make a way to extract this data, so that we can figure out what so we can extract the latitude and longitude of this CSV file. So let's start with definition. We're gonna make this look up city. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass in this CSV file, comma, city name. We're gonna do is we're gonna try, and then we're gonna see if we're able to extract this data frame. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna extract the information from this CSV file, and remember we're gonna do the same thing that we do for a data science. We're gonna use the data frame, and the reason we're using data frame is because it makes it easier for us to search on a CSV file, and it's faster. CSV file. We're gonna try that, and we're gonna throw an exception. Is the file not found? Error. And we're gonna print F file CSV file. So this is gonna be the name of the CSV file, and we're gonna say not found. So we're correctly modifying our own error. We're gonna do another exception if exception as E, and we're gonna print an error occur okay. Let's check if this is work. Oh, well, let's also save the let's save this CSV file name, and this is going to be California cities .csv, right? That's the file that we want to be able to read from. We're going to look for the city to search, and we're going to ask the user to input the city that we want to look for. Enter city name to search. And then we're gonna, let's see, we're gonna be able to, let's see if this so far works. Try, I think I forgot to do the colon. And this is an error occur. Perhaps your format, comma. Am I an error occur? I forgot to put the comma here. All right, we're gonna look for San Diego. So right now it's not working, right? It's not doing anything. It's just making sure that this part right here is working. So, this is going to create a data frame for this CSV file. I want to show, well, anyways. So you guys remember that this creates a table, a data frame. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to extract, we're going to be looking for the city name on this data frame. So we're going to, if it matches, this is going to be the city name. So this is going to return all the data frame. It's going to create a data frame, a copy of the data frame, where all the rows that match this city name. So we're going to create a data frame, right, called match, that has this, that has the with the rows that has this city name. So we're going to have a data frame, and then within this data frame, we're going to look, right? We're gonna look for the ones that match this city name. So we're gonna look for, excuse me, sorry about that. We're gonna look for in the data frame for all the rows that have this city name in 1, 2, 3 on the third column. So that's what we're gonna be doing. So how are we gonna do that? Let me show you guys. So we're gonna look at data frame ilog. Remember that ilog is the it means a integer location. Sorry, integer location. Sorry about that. So that means the integer location, and integer location. And we're gonna, and so this integer location requires two datas. So the first one is for the rows, and the second one is for the columns. So this eloc integer location is looking for two input values. It has two parameters. The first one is for the rows, the second one is for the columns. So what we're gonna look at all the rows. For us to say that we're gonna look at all the rows, we can go from index 0 to the end of the data frame, or we can just do this shortcut and put this column saying that we're gonna go from the beginning to the end. So we're gonna look at all the rows, and we're gonna look for the column specifically at index 2. Why index 2? 2 because remember that this is located, even though this is the third column, this is located at index 0, index 1, index 2. So we're going to look at the index 2 values for every row. That's what this is doing. So we're going to look at every single row that has on the index column 2. We're going to look for the ones that match the city name. Now this is going to return again a data frame with all the rows that have city name as this city name as the name of the city. In this case, it's just going to be 1 because we only have 1 row per city. And but in case you wanted to do, I don't know, maybe you want to look at all the counties, right? You can do that as well. This can actually work for the same way for all the counties. Now, if the match, right, data frame is empty, it's not empty, right? It's not empty. What we're gonna do is we're gonna graph data from column 5, which is going to be, and we're gonna do something eloc integer location. Again, we're gonna look at the first row at the is going to be the 5th column, right? If we look at here, we're going to look at the latitude, right? So we're going to look at the latitude. So that's going to be index. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5th column, but it's located at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because remember, we're going by the index location. So that's index 4. We're going to put index 4 here, even though it's going to be column 5. And we do the same thing for the next one. Column 6 match dot eloc. Again, the first row of the 5th index column, right? So that's just it's gonna graph the data that we want, which is, we can just call it latitude and longitude, right? We could just call it latitude and longitude. Doesn't make any difference. I don't know if you guys want to call it. We can call it that. Let's call that latitude, and then longitude. Oh, lat and long, just because we were calling it before. All right, and so we're just gonna print it just to see that we got what we wanted to print. F found city name, so that's the variable. The latitude is going to be lat, comma, longitude is going to be lot. Let's see if this is working. Let's see if this is working. So this is going to return the latitude and longitude. And we're gonna comment that. And let's see if it works. It says on the unterminated string literal detected. Let's see. Print. Oh, because I put the wrong quotation. Now let's see San Diego and CSV file. Oh, I think I put the lookup is we're gonna pass in this as our name. And this is going to be the city name that we're gonna pass in. City to search. Sorry, I didn't make those changes. San Diego. And then, oh yes, now we were using the data frame pandas, so I need to import pandas here. Import pandas. Um, Here you go. Oh yeah. So now this is interesting because it's saying cannot unpack a non-iterable, non-type object. So let's just so that you guys can see it, let's print the actual values of the latitude and longitude. Also this not returning something, so I gotta return those values. So, but I wanna show you something first. We'll return lat and longitude. But I want to print the type of lat and the type of longitude. Let's see what type they are. Latitude and longitude. Okay. It says do not unpack non-reward. Okay. So it's given us problem because it is not a uh it is not an object type. So let's make them into something that we know we can. So we know they're gonna be decimals, right? But it's actually a float of type 64. So it's not a normal float value because we're dealing with this data frames. Data frames wants to store everything in a specific object type. And so that's what it turned them all into the same type, which is a float 64. Let's see if this actually can do it. San Diego. Uh, um, hmm, it should work. Hmm. Mhm. Oh, something that I forgot to do here is to turn it into a string lower case. So the problem with the when you have a data frame is that it stores them in a specific type that doesn't require that much data. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Hmm. Oh, I was using longitude, latitude, lot instead of long. Well, that's a problem there. All right, let's try that. I don't think that fixes it. All right. Okay, this fixed it. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. Notice that this right here is printing the type of the latitude and longitude. So it's telling us that it's a NumPy type float 64. It's not a normal float. The reason that this is saved like this is because that's the class type, is because Python wants to store the data into an array where they all have the same data type, but in the smallest possible efficient way. So that's why this is doing that. So that's why we needed to turn that into a float, normal float, right? And this is why we need to turn that into a string, normal string. So we do this. We have San Diego, and we can see the coordinates of San Diego. Here's the coordinates of the weather, San Diego, USA. The temperature is 57, broken clouds, 82% humidity, 1.9 meters per second speed. And I think that should practically do everything that we wanted to do. Um, yeah, I think that that should be doing it. So I wanted to combine APIs and CSV file. I think we might have talked about the APIs before, or might have not. Um, so I wanted to finish up this session this last week with going back to APIs. APIs, I could have done a different API, but this is free, easy to access. You don't have to do much on it, but just practicing the APIs and how we can read data from an API. Also, how we can extract data from a CSV file and use it for our API. And so hopefully that helped working with APIs. APIs are very common. You can do this also with a open AI API, but the reason I didn't want to do it is because that requires to pay. They'll give you some free, but I didn't want anybody to have to worry about that. Like just in case you didn't cancel it or you keep doing it, using it, it's just gonna charge you for it. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use one that is free and easy to use to grab some data of the weather. Okay. I think that should be all. And I'm sorry I'm making it a little long. And again, so hopefully that just gives you a little more confidence on how to extract data from a API and how we can extract the data from the CSV file. So here you can see we're able to use the CSV file, open the CSV file and extract data, look on that table to be able to get some values that we can use on the API. So here we use this data, this CSV file to extract the coordinates of the city and use that information to find all the information about the weather, right? And so there you go. All right. So what I want you guys to do here is I want you guys to save this into a PDF and submit it on your lecture for week 15. There's gonna be where you see this video, there's gonna be an assignment where you can see click to submit. And all I want you guys to do is save this onto a PDF file. Actually all of them, right? Not the key, right? But actually just this code right here. You don't need anything else, just this code. Save it onto a what is a notepad, or you can use notepad is fine. Save it, new tab, put it right here. Copy, notepad, and then file, save as, save it, right? We can call it the Python API weather. Save it, and then we can also print it as a PDF, right? Print and save it in the same file, right? Python. Then we're just gonna remove that last part and save it. There you go. Okay, so we're saving it as a PDF, and that's how you're gonna submit it. Okay, all right. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.